inside the Poetry Studio. I'm Dr. Els.
I'm Sir Thelonius Fresh, Esquire.
And today we shall be discussing the greatest art form of poetry. Not in the country, in the world.
Like that big old circle is blue, but this whole world.
Yes, indeed. Hip-hop, the greatest form of poetry the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
Just think about it. You don't believe me? There are Russian rappers that exist.
Я русский, это с глубокого детства спилен зажигатель. Какие там НАТО в руках автоматы по брату на НАТО удар. Горжусь, что я русский, никак за во фляге на шлюхе, а более с предателем. Корабль не тонет, а крысы сибали, спасибо.
Да, мой стиль, мой пентух ростил, я ломал кости. Ты бы таз, фокски, тянула кости. Что ты запостил? Ты несерьезный, много базаришь, но ты не выходишь со мной. Моя стая, мы цау, мы оуджи. Делаем, что хотим, сука, нам можно.
Russian rappers.
They be trying to go fast sometimes, so they be rushing in two different ways.
Yes.
So everything they do is a double entendre.
Indeed.
Say what?
While discussing this precious art form, there's one aspect of it that tends to get overlooked. The production. The production is such a valuable aspect of the art form. How many rappers are we aware of that are fantastical, imaginative, creative rappers, but with terrible production?
No.
Gesundheit.
Oh.
Gesundheit.
Mr. Jones. Oh.
Allergy season.
Oh, yeah, spring.
It's crazy.
Spring.
But there are rappers that are just notorious for terrible beat selection, and it overshadows their lyrical qualities.
Oh, man.
Yeah, these allergy season.
Yeah, Marshall Mathers and also Zyrtec Mathers too.
Yes. But as far as production, who are your favorite producers?
It's like a nice little range because, you gotta have a blend. So I like Ninth Wonder with a lot of soul chopping.
Yes.
Kenny Beats is starting to be one of my favorites because he seems so versatile in what he can do.
Indeed.
Especially, you can go from anywhere from like a little poppy sound to the trap beats. You can listen to Madlib or whatever.
Yes.
Madlib's great. And if you want to sound like a villain, get you on an Alchemist beat. Like,
Indeed.
If you want to say if you want to say something that you wouldn't say in front of a jury, have Alchemist make a beat for you. You're gonna sound like Lex Luthor times 10. It's beautiful to me.
Indeed. Alchemist. I have to give Alchemist his flowers. As much as I am loath to give like a white artist such major props in a black art form, he has definitely paid his dues. He's been producing since the 90s, and it's all been consistent heat.
And it's all just like authentic stuff where he's not like going around and saying, yeah, man, I'm the hardest motherfucker ever. He's just Alchemist in the background. And at first, I didn't know he was a producer when I saw him on some music videos. I was like, yo, who is this white dude? And why he like that? Why is he here? Why is he standing right next to 50 like that? In his Mobb Deep video.
Indeed. There was, the first Alchemist beat I really remember, really digging, who produced this? And just really falling into it was The Realist on the Murder Music album from Mobb Deep. Such an amazing beat. And the fact that he's still, so many years later, still producing on that level, chef's kiss.
Upper tier, and it's beautiful that newer guys are getting to him, He's dropping a song with Larry June soon too.
Yes. And that's the other thing. I think we were talking earlier, and you were saying something about rappers and their best work.
Yeah, like most, like if you think about it, some rappers, not rappers, this ain't Toronto. Some rappers are way better when the whole album is produced by one producer too. If you think about it, like we said, might have sneezed a couple times. Nas, when he just earlier work, we would have been like, oh Nas, why would you let that happen? The last few years, him and Hit Boy been like this. Magic.
It's been some of his and magic indeed. That's been a lot. He's put out a lot of his best work over the last couple of years with the King's Disease series, working exclusively with Hit Boy, and that's the other thing. Nas with Illmatic. Illmatic was a very foundational album. Everyone will say that Illmatic changed the game. A lot of people won't say why. Illmatic was one of the first major albums to use multiple producers. Before Illmatic, a lot of rap albums were produced exclusively by one producer.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. We're learning history here.
I didn't even know that. That makes sense though. Like
and that it was so successful, a lot of people jumped onto that trend of having multiple producers, and now it's kind of come full circle, especially for Nas to be doing albums just with strictly one producer. And the game just kind of corrects itself like that sometimes. I mean, we've gotten a lot of great albums with multiple producers. It's not to say that that's the problem, but
I think when it's multiple in one album like that, at some point you lose a little bit of like cohesiveness unless everybody's all in it together. Like To Pimp a Butterfly had like a bajillion people in the credits, but it was clearly all like Kendrick's master plan to say, hey, you play a flute right here and just a flute, and then just for a little bit, it was mostly like pianos and stuff, it doesn't matter, but like
yeah,
and just have Terrace Martin play his saxophone randomly and just see what happens, and you're like, oh shoot, this is a nice amalgamation of, is that a Tupac random voice? Okay.
And I mean, another great example of having multiple producers making a cohesive album, like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That album he had like a billion producers on it. He's looked at as being like a super producer, but really while he is capable of doing some great production, he's also really good at bringing the right people in to feed off of and work together towards a common, goal and project and message.
Which is like a hyperbolized version of what DJ Khaled be doing.
Yes.
DJ Khaled don't produce none of those songs that you hear on the radio. You've never even seen DJ Khaled behind the boards unless it looked goofy. But he's one hell of a networker. He the best.
Indeed he is. But I think another really good, Freddie Gibbs is another great example of someone who flourished off of doing albums exclusively with one producer. He showcased the power of that with the bandana and
I cannot think of the name of the one. The one with Alchemist and
Alfredo.
He had two with Mad Lib.
Yeah, it was the last one was bandana. What was I can't remember. It was something Anna.
No, it was Zebra? Something with a zebra. No, the
Pinata.
Pinata.
There it is.
Yeah.
Great album.
There's an A in there somewhere.
Yeah. But the good thing about with Freddie Gibbs also, every time you hear a Freddie Gibbs verse, you can't help but think, man, this guy can rap.
He be rapping his butt off.
He can really rap. This guy is really rapping here. He's doing a great job. But he understands the importance of having a single producer and a cohesive sound. Even his last album, the Triple S album, it had a bunch of different producers, but it did have a cohesive sound as well still.
Streamlined through, made sense doing it. If you're not gonna have a cohesive sound, make it sound like it's supposed to sound chaotic. Like
Danny Brown, Atrocity Exhibition. Beautiful album. In all of its chaoticness. Chaotosity.
Just like, I know, what was it, 2011, 2012, Blue released New York, and then changed it to New York, and it just had him just going all over the place where it goes do 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 do, from like Everything's Okay with Jack Davey, where they're like do 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 do, everything's okay, and then towards the end he's like, oh yeah, we breaking it down for jazz now, and it has Andy Allo singing like Billie Holiday, and we're like, hey bro, why don't you just get Exile and make a great soul beats all over again, bro? You and him are always fun together.
Yeah, sometimes, it doesn't always work. Legendary albums done by one producer.
Knowledge.
Yes.
Like when no one ever thought about it before, him and Anderson .Paak came together to do No Worries.
Yes.
And that's like 45 minutes of just smooth,
brilliant
sailing.
Brilliant work.
Soul, where like you want to smack someone, then you want to like cry to her about like sorry, apologize for smacking her, and also be like, hey, I'll smack you again, but let's after we eat these chicken wings. That's how I feel listening to that album right there. All while rolling up a cigarette, 1930s style.
Brilliant stuff. A lot of the Wu-Tang albums, RZA, the RZA, you could not tell me back in the 90s that the RZA was not the greatest rapper / producer to ever exist.
And that's like a lot of songs to produce in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it really is. I think history has kind of forgotten his impact. Without RZA, there would be no like all of the soul samples he was using then. Like he kind of brought that out to the forefront.
Yeah, what definitely like separates RZA too is like not every producer should rap. Also,
looking back, I was just re-listening to some of the Bobby Digital albums a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, wow, I really used to enjoy this.
I don't like RZA as a rapper.
RZA,
his flow any time.
RZA, but that's what I loved about RZA. He was very unpredictable, and I thought it was the most genius stuff ever back then. It's creative. What can you say?
It's creative.
But he definitely single-handedly churned out consecutive classic albums, production-wise.
Decades straight.
Yeah. And like he put the entire Wu-Tang on his back and pushed it all out. Like Only Built for Cuban Links, Iron Man. Yeah, like these like foundational albums. So I mean he's definitely on Rushmore. We can't forget about RZA.
He's on top. I want to bring it back to Alchemist too, because like I don't know, he's been when he makes his own stuff too. He'll occasionally drop behind the mic, and I love the fact that like, he understands. He's like, yeah, I'm not the most miracles, spirituals, eating cereal type of dude, but then he's like, oh yeah, also I'm clearly having fun being myself, and y'all don't like this because y'all like my beats.
And I enjoy it. I was listening to that Sitting in the Darkness song that he did with Hit Boy. And I was listening to the Alchemist verse, and I couldn't help but think, like, he must have spent a lot of time analyzing Rock Marcy when they did that joint album together. Because that was a lot of Rock Marcy's cadence on there, in my opinion. Not that that's a bad thing, because Rock Marcy is an amazing rapper. If there's anybody's cadence you would want to sound like, it's his.
That's the fun part about producers too, is that like
they can find those pockets.
You find the pockets, but you could tell like when they're producing for their friends like that. Like Alchemist will produce for Rock Marcy, Action Bronson, like that whole pocket of dudes that when they make a song, it doesn't necessarily have to be a fun song. It's just like I'm just saying things on the beat. I might be talking about crime. I might be like talking about raising my children, but like this is I might make raising my children a crime. Who knows? But like you're like, okay, yeah, this is we need more of this right here. Every time you hear that, like Rock Marcy sounds amazing on Alchemist beats. Mayhem Marin always sounds great. Like Action Bronson will sound where like you just float on a beat like that. That's you could even like especially like Schoolboy Q too. Like after he got his first beat from Alchemist, where I think it was My Hating Joint was the first track he got from Alchemist, and after that he was like, oh, hold up. No, it wasn't. It wasn't My Hating Joint. That was Mike Will. Alchemist beats. I don't remember what song it was. I think it was Habits and Contradictions. He got one from Alchemist. He was like, oh. And then a few years later, he gets this song called When You Gonna Drop That New Shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, y'all been doing this together for a little bit. This is.
And you know, speaking of Rock Marcy is also no slouch behind the boards as well. I've been the last couple of weeks I've been listening to a lot of his work with Stove God Cooks. Amazing stuff. Great albums. Like and also he did with he's been doing a lot of joint albums and production, like handling the load of production throughout the whole album for a lot of different artists. Who is Flea Lord, the Flea Lord album, Delgado, amazing album. I really enjoyed that one too. Dope album. His production is very heavy, like on the blaxploitation type vibes, like 70s funk. You feel like you're like in a Black Dynamite scene.
And I love it when rappers and musicians like that put, like once again, there's a pioneer into this where they bring like movies, like sample movies and TV shows and that instead of just like finding an old song and putting it on. Oh yeah, here's some Kung Pao, not Kung Fu. That sounds like a terrible dish. But like here's like a Kung Pao sample real quick, or oh yeah, y'all want to hear Pam Greer's voice for once? Y'all want to hear Pam Grier say something? You want to? Now you can picture Pam Grier too. Look at that.
But another thing that a good producer can help to do is like when we talk about cohesive projects, it ties together a theme and makes it feel like almost like you're watching a movie. You know, if you're watching a movie that's made by multiple directors, you can either get something that looks like Sin City, or you can get something that looks like the original Justice League movie. You know, like if you have different visions coming together in a movie, it's got to be cohesive. And artists that take the art of the craft seriously will give you a cohesive album. A lot of the more mainstream artists, you don't really get that from them. You know, because it's just, I don't know, they're churning out albums, and a lot of the kids now, like, they'll listen to the album just like on shuffle or
I don't know. It's like
They're
the
not
the
even
album
really-
is dead though.
yeah. There are now also I can't talk about people that use multiple producers effectively without bringing up the ultimate master of bringing multiple producers together for a cohesive sound. West Side Gun.
Boom, 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 boom.
West Side Gun is an artistic genius. He is a modern artistic genius. The cohesiveness of his albums are unmatched. And the way he single-handedly picks his producers and themes and blends everything together is bravo.
I feel the same way about Rick Ross too. I've never heard
Rick Ross also,
Rick Ross
he's
ever sound bad on
he's amazing at, getting a sound. When you get a Rick Ross album, you hit play on it, you know what to expect.
Like Rick Ross's whole demeanor is luxury.
Yes. And like his album titles are always just or song titles are just,
I'm still rich.
yeah, just cigar music or just something just luxurious.
Yeah, this album's called Sitting in Limos, Drinking a Tequila and Sprite by myself. That's what
Success alone, solitude.
I used to be a CEO, now I'm crying alone. Like that's which
He makes fantastic music though.
is fantastic.
And that's really all that matters. That's why we're here. But it's we want to give props to all the artists, the real artists that are putting real work into making a cohesive work of art for people to enjoy. Like whenever I listen to an album, I'm from the era where you buy an album, you sit home, you open it up, you read the liner notes, and put your headphones on and listen through.
Mm-hmm.
And see what you like and what you don't like. The streaming era has changed things to where it's kind of made it all kind of disposable, because it's usually a lot of the younger kids now are just going to stream one song, the popular song, whatever's popular on TikTok. A lot of them don't really care what's on the album. I think a lot of the labels kind of realize that too. So you see like the amount of work that goes into some of the more mainstream artists that just get like a really big TikTok single or something. It's never really a lot of real work that goes into it. It seems anyway.
Like to me, a lot of it is like sometimes people are actually going out of their way to make songs viral.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, now that this song is viral, alright, like the record company will be like, alright, make a song that'll get us quick cash and go viral. Here's a little front, we can put something we can front you for this. Go out there, make the kids do a little dance or something real quick. And that's why, like, artists are releasing way more and more projects than you realize now. We're like, there should be no reason why I should have a new album from you every year that much when it just feels like another version of the last one.
Yeah, I mean, the appetite has grown so much because it's just become so disposable and easy to get to. When you had to really go out and spend like $20 on an album that was gonna have to feed you for like 2-3 years.
Or get really good at stealing from Sam Goody.
But
Sam
now
Goody don't exist no more, so
if it's like basically free for you to listen to, you're like, okay, now give me more. We've become very gluttonous in our consumption because everything is at our fingertips now. you don't really have to like buy any of it. You can just type it in and listen to it. It's amazing. I'm not complaining about that at all. I love it. I think it's great. And I'm also guilty of being very gluttonous about my music intake. But, and now there's so many rappers now too. Like anybody can really put their own stuff out and rap.
Because there's accessibility to more stuff now. Like anyone can have a home studio, and you don't know how quickly. Look, I've even released songs, quote unquote, hypothetically, and I was like, oh yeah, boom, here's the public. You can consume this. It's gonna be a song. It don't matter if it's good. It's gonna take the right all it takes is like the right person to hear it and at the right time, and it's just gonna pop up. I don't remember a dude's name. But he made a song, it was like Billie Eilish, some styling, something, Billie Eilish, and they went viral, and he couldn't even like put the song out for real, until Billie Eilish herself was like, all right, cool, can y'all clear this or something? Because it sampled that Pastor Cavassier song and something else. It's like, people don't like clearing samples too.
Yep.
Bro.
And once you get that sample clear, you'll be like Juice WRLD, rest in peace, was paying Sting like an insane amount of money.
Didn't have it.
I'll put it down here, but
didn't Eminem? Oh no! Didn't Michael Jackson buy Eminem's catalog at some point?
He did. Indeed, he did. After I'm sure you've probably seen this as a meme or something on the internet, but it is true. After the Just Lose It video, which is it's a terrible
it's
song.
So bad, but
it's such a terrible song. And it's like the fact that we let Eminem get away with the Encore album. Like, just imagine if Jay-Z put out Encore.
The way you move it, you make my PB go doing, doing, doing.
Imagine. He would never be able to put out another album again. He'd be done.
Yeah, just like Chance the Rapper. That was Oh my God, the big day. I was like, no, that was
it's I hate it so much because people like Eminem, I know there's a whole argument about, oh, Eminem's a legend, whatever. Like, he's gotten away with so much that other rappers would not be able to do.
At least he acknowledges it, though.
Yeah, he does acknowledge it, and I respect him.
I can't hate him.
I respect him personally, but like his body of work has been like garbage for 20 years. There's no other rapper that can coast by with a catalog like that and still be considered great for 20 years. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, Just Lose It. That song comes out. It's terrible. Michael Jackson gets upset and goes and buys his whole catalog and owns it. So, yeah, that's, I guess, if you're really rich, you can do things like that. Great story.
I wish I could do that right now.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That's like a lot of ham sandwiches.
It is. That is a lot of ham sandwiches.
I think the cool thing is when a lot of producers just like try new stuff too. Like one of my favorite beats of all time is for this song called "What Up Man" by the Cool Kids, where Chuck English he just like uses his voice for the beats, pretty much the beat for the whole thing, like all instruments. The bass is like a little bit of bass, but him just saying bass, and tick tick. Someone says clap, and it's just a fun song.
Yeah, Chuck English is another one that's really doing a lot of cool stuff. The last Cool Kids album they did, great album. I enjoyed it.
That's speaking of them. They're like like when they go separate and when they're together is a completely different thing too.
Yep.
Like production wise again.
Yep.
Where like for example the last album, Chuck did all the beats for the part of the triple album where they're together, and it's like, alright, cool, yeah, this is a very cool kids album. They're having fun, they're doing things, they're rocking clean, they're grown, but they're still just doing the thing. But then when they do their separate parts, you'll get Mikey on beats from like Mad Lib or something, where he'll sound like a completely different dude still. Not a completely different dude, but like a completely different vibe. We're like, oh yeah. And then Chuck, he's been making like a lot of like love songs and stuff. And when he's on his own, where he's like, oh yeah, I be doing West Coast songs and love jokes by myself now. Rock with me. And I love the way it comes out, where it still sounds really genuine, but still very different.
Now, I do have to say, one of my favorite producers that really, when he came out, he really changed the entire game. Like, you can notice how there's a noticeable shift in music when Timbaland and Missy dropped Super Duper Fly. That album changed music, period. Genius album, belongs in a museum somewhere. Great stuff. And, you know, while his stuff hasn't really been, I don't know, I guess, like, he's not really on that level. Like, people's sounds change over a while, and, you know, I guess it's hard to keep your muse for that long.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But you can't deny the great stuff that they gave. You know, Pharrell, I think Pharrell, even as a mainstream producer, is legendary. Like his length of time in the game and the amount of just pure hits he's done, and to be able to just like to go from a pocky sound to go to like a pure street sound.
I think
It's an insane talent.
I think what's different too is that not everybody's from the same place. So like when you got somebody who comes out of left field, like they're not a bunch of artists from Virginia like Timbaland or Pharrell. So when they came out with their different sound, like, oh shoot, that's what Virginia sounds like. There's not really a regional sound like that anymore, just because everybody's still kind of like chasing like a hit and trying to catch a wave now. So now everybody sounds like Atlanta.
Yeah.
Unless they just want to chop soul beats.
Yeah.
You're either chopping soul beats, or if you're trying to sell it, you're gonna try to sound like Atlanta.
Another underground legend who had a great run, LP.
Mm-hmm.
The Fantastic Damage, or Company Flow, period. Like the whole Def Jux era after that. Amazing stuff came to the Cannibal Ox album. Brilliant. It was, the production on that was, I've never heard anything like it. Still haven't heard anything like it. It's, cinematic yet futuristic. It's like a ghetto sci-fi movie.
Yeah, that's a good way to say that.
And yeah, it's a great album. I love the Cannibal Ox album. That's another artist producer duo that, I don't know, it just, you put out an album like that and people are gonna want more of that. Like they weren't able to kind of replicate that kind of same success. I mean, I guess there was like a falling out or whatever. I can't really discuss what may or may not have happened there, but I do know they made some amazing music together, and people just wanted more of that. But such is life.
He's one of those guys that's good on his own beats too.
Yeah.
I think. Well, some might say Cole. I think Crit is the best at being on his own beats, rapping on his own beats. where like Crit has his pocket, he understands. He's like, I'm a son dude, I'm producing, mix my own ish, I'll rap all y'all, and you're like, yeah, okay, hold on. I think Crit has the best double album that probably will never go platinum.
Yeah.
That, what did he release that? Was it 2016, 2017? But that double album, and I was like, all right, 20 tracks. This is amazing. Why is Crit never getting that love? He's too country.
Yeah, a lot of the southern artists, southern producers get a lot of flack. They don't get a lot of as much love as they should, and it's a tragedy. There is a lot of great music coming from the South, but you can't talk about a lot of the current music without talking about a lot of the great foundational producers as well.
Manny Fresh.
Yeah, Manny Fresh. I mean, we'll go back even further. Manny Fresh had a great run. Built Cash Money into what it is, and he probably didn't receive his fair compensation for that,
Most
but
definitely didn't.
he does deserve it because it was built on his shoulders. But yeah, Manny Fresh, KLC for No Limit, a lot of great Southern producers, Organized Noise, the Dungeon Family, amazing stuff.
Ahead of their time too.
Very ahead of their time. Timeless albums. A lot of those albums that came out, like they still hold up. That's having a single set of producers. And even going back to like the foundational hip hop eras, like Large Professor.
Prince Paul.
Yes, Prince Paul, Large Professor.
Paul, like,
yes.
They could be goofy dudes, and y'all. Prince Paul caught the vision.
Prince Paul, the originator of the rap skit, and made like the originator of the concept album too. I think wasn't. Well, I'm trying to think. Prince Among Thieves was a dope concept album. I'm trying to remember if that or Dr. Octagon came out first. I think Kool Keith was one of the first to really do concept albums. Yeah, Kool Keith, another amazing like rap veteran that inspired a lot of what you see now, like with like alter egos and all of that in rap. That was all Kool Keith. His were a lot more ribald though. But yeah, Kool Keith, very legendary. Another dope production unit that doesn't get their credit, the Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad was amazing. Eric Sermon. Eric Sermon. Like a lot of the great producers of that time just people have kind of forgotten. Like go back and listen to a lot of these producers. They made a lot of great bodies of work that built a lot and inspired a lot of the sounds you hear now.
Especially Dilla too.
Dilla, yes. R.I.P. Like amazing work with Slum Village.
Common.
Yeah.
He pretty much brought up a lot of the Midwest Renaissance.
A lot.
Oh yeah, Midwest dudes.
Not just rap, R&B. So a lot of great work from producers. Production. When you talk about the art form of rap and hip hop, you cannot leave out the producers.
It does a whole lot of heavy lifting.
It does. The production is a vital part of any rap album. And the producers deserve their credit. And shout out to Hit Boy and the
his control verse.
yeah
Makers.
his control verse towards the production game. You know, it does have to be kind of frustrating to see a producer like Hitmaker that's basically just recycling whatever song was hot a few years ago, and get radio play. And you know, it's
even funnier because Hitmaker was Young Bird.
yes,
Like,
like he was like a joke in the game, but you know, it is what it is. That's neither here nor there. It's like the actual art that matters, and you know, I wish everybody success in the game, but you know, I feel Hit Boy's frustration. And everybody does have their own pocket. Like, I enjoy Metro Boomin. Love Metro Boomin's work. I think he's Zaytoven. They're masters of their craft. I thought Heroes and Villains was amazing. I thought Heroes Don't Wear Capes. Beautiful album. I love it. Like, his work with Future. Beautiful stuff. Future also an amazing mainstream artist that knows the importance of production.
Because I don't ever want to hear Future on Night Wonder.
Yeah. And he knows you don't want to hear that.
It's going to be so bad. That would be so bad.
Yeah, we will probably never hear Future over Evidence beat.
Oh, no.
But, you know, it's Future understands his pocket very well, and he understands the importance of great production also. And
real quick, I want to apologize to Jahil Beats. Your tag sounds like people, the kids saying Jungle Beats, holla at me.
yes, it is Jalil Beats.
It's Jahil Beats.
Yes, Jalil Beats, holler at me.
And I've yelled Jungle Beats, holla at me countless times. I ain't mean to tell you. We gonna say your real name.
Jalil Beats has some very, very classic joints also. Meek Mill's breakout song, that I'm a Boss.
I'm a boss.
And I think, did he do House Party?
I think he did.
But he did also do Hot N-Word.
Hot, mm-hmm.
Yeah. That Bobby, I mean, that's, we all know how that song went down. We all know the story behind that. But it's a classic. It's like a hip-hop monument. He's behind that. You know, we got to give these people their props for what they've contributed to the culture. Not many people accomplish a feat like that. So, shout out to you, Jalil Beats.
Shout out to Swiss Beats too.
Yeah, Swiss Beats.
Like,
yeah.
I don't really like a lot of his stuff, especially when he's rapping on himself. You know, It's Me Snitches is not a good song.
Yeah.
But it's fun to say. But like,
Money Cash Hoes, love it.
He was the main guy for the Rough Riders, and somehow the Lox and Eve and DMX like prospered throughout whatever Swiss Beats gave them. I'm saying, that's how great they were.
Yeah, there was something he did, like I think it was on the Rough Riders Volume 2. Rough Riders Volume 1, amazing album. All the way through. Fire. Rough Riders Volume 2, there was one on there, it sounded like the lava level from Super Mario. It was
Swiss beats, put hits on the streets every 6 weeks. I be on the MP so much that my wrist squeak.
I did not find it enjoyable. But, you know, Swizz definitely has some joints in the culture, like, you know, the Rough Riders anthem.
Oh.
Money Cash Hoes.
He got a bunch of them just with X alone too.
Yeah.
RPX. Him. Like, you know who I didn't respect for a long time and I almost still don't, but jokingly, but like I'm like, all right, you got hits though. Ron Browse.
Okay, yeah.
He had a nice run with fellow Harlem Cats or whatever, Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably because he got on the mic. Sometimes it's better to not be seen and heard and just like when he made all rock music.
Yeah.
First it was who was the cold one? Was it Cal? It was like, hey, y'all saying real words right now. They're not cool. And he's like, oh,
yeah. Was that A-Rap Money?
yeah, we like,
Yeah.
we're like, oh,
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah.
Chill. Oh, I listened to that the other day. I was like, this song is comical. Why did Busta Rhymes decide to put this on his album?
Yeah, it was another really.
They should have played that in the Qatar World Cup. That's what have been World War III right there.
Now, if we're talking Dipset, we have to talk Heatmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Heatmakers, amazing body of work. Also, they propped Dipset up, built a lot of their. I mean, they couldn't get. You could tell they wanted more of like a lot of the soul samples and stuff because that's what was popping. But the Heatmakers definitely made that their own. They put their own flavor on it and made a lot of good records in the process.
And like bring back to like being around dudes that you know all the time and like the regional thing. That's why like a lot of it worked out too. Where you're like Timbaland and Missy, you know, oh yeah, we from around the corner. Let's make this real quick. All right, cool. Or now you gotta like, oh yeah, Metro. I'm from Connecticut, but I want to sound like Yo Records. Shout out to DJ Toomp too, by the way. Toomp, people don't talk about him enough either, but he had that whole grand hustle going.
He did.
He made me listen to Young LA. I listened to a whole I still have that in my library for some reason. It pisses me off when it comes on. I don't know what Young LA doing in life right now, but I hope he's thriving, and I'm glad it's not music.
We gotta talk about the West Coast too. Like the West Coast had DJ Quick, amazing, like legend in production. Of course, you got Dre, and those are like my like super. That's like my Mount Rushmore, and of course Daz Dillinger, amazing. Like they built the West Coast up into what it is now. And, you know, we got to give every region their props. I definitely don't want to forget the West and leave out their influence.
Shook in jail right now, though, right?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, even if we did forget, what's up?
That was Thelonius that said that, not me. But, we want to give props to all of the producers out there for everything they've contributed to the art form. Your work does not go unnoticed. And thank you for providing us with the slaps.
Yeah. Get producer tag on this, whatever I'm saying now.
This has been Inside the Poetry Studio, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey.
I see what you did there.